Happy Thursday, my darling pop culture junkies. It's another week. It's another mental week of culture and pop culture and everything in between. And as always, it's me, Brooke.
On Thursdays.
Welcome back, my darlings. I'm just going to get right into it because there's a lot of ground to cover. But first of all, I just need to be very transparent. Some people seem to think like it looks like I got lip injections, which I did not. I have not gone that route yet in my life. Others are noticing a lisp, a little bit of a lisp. And I'm hoping that I will be able to sort that out over the coming 8 to 10 months because, guys, I got Invisalign. So if Invisalign wants to be an advertiser on this podcast, call me. But I have Invisalign. It's crazy. It wasn't cosmetic. It's like structural, whatever. I had a freak out in the dentist's office. I had it today. I'm not the brightest. Like 2 hours before a podcast, I'm like, let's get Invisalign put in. But as I'm getting ready, like I've paid all this money, I've waited weeks to get the things ready. So today was the day. And as I'm sitting there and they put the goggles on me, I was like, wait, is it painful? Like, does Invisalign hurt? Which are, you would think, questions that I should have asked prior to scheduling it, prior to paying for it. It's not cheap. And I'm not even joking. The doctor said, listen, the first few days are going to be brutal. And then you'll just get used to it. But it'll be, a couple days of agony and then you'll be fine. And if you guys, for those of you who know me, will know when I say I had like a Brooke level meltdown, I'm like a runner. And I don't mean I'm running. Like I literally am a runner. When things get really heated, I'm like, I'm out. It's my fight or flight mode. I couldn't have gotten out of there fast enough. I was like, peace out. I said, I have so much going on in my life. Like the last thing that I need to do to myself on purpose is agony, like creating an agonizing experience. At which point the other woman who works in the office comes running in and she's like, what are you talking about? It's not agonizing. And the doctor proceeded to say that it was his psychology, like strategy. So then I would, once I went through with it, realize there is no agony and like, oh, this is a breeze. That strategy did not work. It did not work with me. It does not work. So you cannot make me feel better by saying it's going to be brutal and agonizing, but it'll be fine after a couple of days, because that couple of days leading up to it, I had like all the anxiety. I was like, how am I going to sleep? How am I going to survive? I have to work. I have to pay the bills. I have to take care of people and my dog. I like completely had a Brooke meltdown. Talked me off the ledge. She gave me candy. I love that I have a dentist office that has candy. And the candy, I was like a little girl. I was like, okay, I'll take the candy. And then I got into my chair and now I have like braces for an adult. And this is what my new normal is for the next 8 to 10 months. So hopefully everything will be fabulous and we can move on from this conversation. Though if Invisalign is listening, please sponsor the pod. It'll be great. But we have a lot to cover. I have a chaotic day today. So when I put the newsletter out, again, I'm recording this on Monday. I put the newsletter out, like I was so rushed that I actually published it incorrectly. So if you're a subscriber and you got it in email, I published the whole thing. Normally it's just like a teaser up front and then you click to go into the newsletter. So if you guys were confused as to why the email was 500,000 minutes long, that's why I made an error, but that's because there was so much to cover. Like if I look at my notes app, I only covered like 6 of the 30 topics that sort of came up this week. And I think there's some interesting things that I didn't get to in the newsletter that we can talk about today. But what I did get to in the newsletter, and there's a few things, but one is this sort of now intersection of culture meets pop culture and the culture wars. And I'm talking about the trans stuff that's been going on. And there's been an, nonstop talk about trans and whatever side of the spectrum you live on. I think everybody has a sensitivity to people in bathrooms, or not bathrooms, I should say, locker rooms and sports. And I understand. And I say this as a very I am so supportive of the trans community. I am supportive of my friends who are trans, my friends who have trans kids. And the people that I've spoken to about this topic that are in the trans community all sort of agree with the assessment that what happened at this particular situation at Gold's Gym in West Hollywood, just around the corner from where we are, was not acceptable, was not a great outcome for the trans community. And this was a one-off. This is not the norm. And a one-off should not be, you know, a hair on fire. This is speaking for the trans community situation. But let me tell you what happened. There is a woman who is a member of Gold's Gym in the Beverly Center, just off La Cienega in West Hollywood, which is part of the story, not Gold's Gym. So Gold's Gym sold its Southern California franchises to another company called EOS. And the reason that's important is because she addressed the Gold's Gym community, and then it went viral online, and everybody demanded Gold's Gym to have a statement. And their statement was like, not our problem. We sold. That's not ours. Like, peace out. Which they could have had an opportunity to be actually a better brand, but that's not the point. So there is a woman, a cis woman, a Black lesbian woman, biologically a woman, who was in the locker room getting dressed, or she was naked coming out of the shower, and there is a trans woman in the bathroom. Now, that's not the issue. The issue is that there is no way to know that this was a trans woman versus a man. What I mean by that is this woman, this person who identifies as a woman, as a trans woman, looks like a man, has no features that are feminine, no visual appearance to make them seem like a woman, and they are pre-op, so everything is male. They have a male chest, they have male bits, and other than the dangling earrings, this person presents as a man. And the backstory is that they had apparently already had some sort of interactions in the gym, and it's hard for me to tell where the video that she has taken of this person, if it was from this instance or another time. But what she claims is that this person was in the gym making lewd comments, sort of flaunting around as these women were feeling very self-conscious and very unsafe, naked in the locker room with this person who they don't know, to them is just a man walking around. She was very upset, and she complained to the Gold's Gym management, and they took umbrage with her complaint, and in a very, I don't know, probably miscalculated decision, revoked her membership. And there is a backstory, so there were other issues leading up to it, but she pulled a Brooke, which I would say is she had a meltdown. And I understand her frustration, being that the gym, like, were canceling her membership. And this was a community that she'd really spent a lot of time being a part of. She'd been a really big active member of the Gold's Gym. I saw a couple of people who talked to her. She'd lost 100 pounds with the help and support of the Gold's community. So having that taken from her when she was just standing up for herself is pretty traumatizing. But she is filmed, as you'll see in a moment, being very vocal and announcing to the lobby area what had happened and letting the women know that they were not being protected and weren't safe because of the Gold's Gym management. So take a look.
Gold's Gym! Men! Grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room! And that's why I'm getting kicked out, and I want to make sure the girls know! The fuck? Everybody saw that man in the fucking locker room. No one's saying shit. And I'm fucking done with it. It's fucking stupid. It's dangerous. Me naked in front of a man without my permission. But I ain't the one who gets kicked out the gym, y'all. I'm terminated for not wanting men in the locker room.
And the reaction has been, I mean, from every single place that I've seen, totally in her favor. Now, she may have gone a little aggressive, but she was pushed to that point. It's not like she just went Karen on them, that this had been an ongoing issue. She was also coming from a place of feeling really unsafe. And in her, she claimed that this person had been antagonizing her. And if you see the interactions with them, you see that this person who identifies as a woman has an attitude that is very uncomfortable to be around. In when you're expressing your discomfort, there was just entitlement. So take a look at this one.
How are you?
Did you tell me or not that women like to see
I'm
dick?
the guy asking you a fucking question.
Exactly.
How's that?
Exactly. Get out of the way now. No. Now he knows how to be a man, right? Now he knows how to be a man. Stay out of the women's locker room. We don't want it. He needs to have his gym membership revoked for that shit. And the woman told you. He assaulted me. The girl told already. We already filed reports. No.
That's fine. I want the video.
You can't get rid of me for this. I'm a woman and I have every right to not want a man in the restroom when I'm naked. There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay.
So every person that I have seen, whether they are in the trans community or in the gay and lesbian community or in the straight or in the cis community, all stand by her, that it is very uncomfortable to have a pre-transitioned person of the opposite sex in a locker room. And it feeds into all of the stereotypes and fears that, unfortunately, the right and the transphobic are putting forth. And so it was really interesting to see, everybody becoming like a J.K. Rowling, right? Now, J.K. Rowling is a transphobic person, is a hateful person. And you don't think you'd ever agree with her on things. But in this case, you understand, and this person was doing it to be antagonistic, I have to say. But I thought this trans woman's viewpoint is correct in that she feels that it was wrong. She feels that the audacity of this person to do was outrageous, but also doesn't know what the answer is. Like, the answer for her is, I just don't go to those spaces. I don't go to the gym as a result. So I do feel like it is up to us to create safe spaces for those people who feel disenfranchised. So if I had a gym, I would have a locker room for whatever sex you want to be in there, like open locker room, however you feel safe. But I loved how she framed this moment in time.
My thoughts on the Gold's Gym bathroom scenario, and I am not inviting any transphobia here. I think it takes a certain level of audacity that I don't have. I don't think I'll ever have it, to feel comfortable walking into a women's locker room. I don't know. I couldn't do it now. I don't perceive a near future where I would even feel comfortable doing that. I'm acutely aware of my surroundings, and my biggest fear always is making women uncomfortable. I look up to women. I admire women so much. Cisgendered women are the only reason that I'm here. They're the only people who have ever supported me, made me feel safe. The last thing I would ever want to do is make them feel unsafe. But in the same vein, my decision is to then just not exist in those public spaces. It's not that I'm using the men's locker room. It's that I don't go. A public gym is not in the cards for me, which is sad. I don't know the right answer. I really don't know the right answer. I wish we could figure this out. I wish people would stop demonizing the trans community because of these one-off stories. A lot of us care really deeply about women. A lot of us do not want to harm women at all. We deeply admire women. So these situations just make me sad because I read the comments and I see the narrative, and it's just so far from true. It's so far from how so many trans women feel, including myself.
It's not, this is tough stuff. Like, you understand, right? Like, I also understand how difficult it is if you're a college athlete and you've worked your whole life and you're on the swim team, and then a teammate who or a competitor who has up until a year ago been a male and now has decided to be identified as a female and still presents as a male, wins all of the tennis or swimming or tennis or any sports awards. It's really, that's a hard one. It's a tricky one. So I certainly believe that people are born in the wrong bodies. I fully believe that there has been a trans part of our society since the beginning of time. We just haven't had a name for it, a voice to it. And I think it's something that is now been weaponized into being this talking point. When you're talking less than 1% of the population, at least in the US, less than 1%. So I think it's these bad actors like this person, Alexis. I say that and my Alexa listens. That's scary. But they identify as Alexis, and which is really scary because it turns out that this is this person's ex-wife's name. So as this has been uncovered more and more, it turns out that this person used to be a married man and was arrested and charged with domestic violence for beating the shit out of his now ex-wife, to the point of like, not that any hitting is okay, but not like they got into a fist fight. Like, he beat the shit out of her, went to jail, and then comes out. And then I think to identify a new life for himself, decides to become a woman named Alexis. He takes his ex-wife's name, which is the most insulting thing I think she's probably, faced with him after second to getting her ass kicked by him. So it's a pretty dangerous situation when you think about it. This is a risk. He's already known to be a risk to women. He is an abuser. He has physically hurt somebody to the point of she needed to be hospitalized. And he's prancing around in the ladies' locker room as if that is his space. And I think as a woman, we already have so many things stacked against us. And a locker room is a place where we can't feel unsafe. We can't feel judged. There was another incident that went viral a couple of years ago, we talked about in the newsletter, where a heavy-set woman at the gym was changing, and a female member of the gym in that changing room took a photo and posted it and was like making fun of her. And it was awful. And this woman was kicked out of the club, as she should have been. Whatever it is, these are safe places, right? So it's really interesting to see how the TikTok community in particular has reacted, and they're not politicizing it. That's what I think is so interesting. This is not a political statement. This is just a human statement. So take a look at, for example, another creator's take.
The transgender who entered the girls' locker room in Gold's Gym in Los Angeles was previously Grant Freeman, a convicted felon who beat his wife, and when he became transgender, took his wife's name. How eerie is that? Alexis Black is their name, and his wife's name at the time was Alexis Freeman. He beat her so hard, quote, Kyle Grant Freeman caused serious physical harm to the victim. The victim suffered a compound fractured mandible, which resulted in her needing surgery, said the court documents from Hamilton Surgery in Ohio. They pleaded guilty in 2022 to savagely beating their wife, Alexis Freeman, causing a compound fractured jaw, among other serious injuries. Black had been convicted of both domestic violence and drug trafficking in the past and has faced a slew of other charges, including resisting arrest, the records show. So Tish Hyman, shout out to you. Thank you for standing up for yourself and all the other women in that gym, and you exposed a lot more than you think.
So lastly, I'm going to just showcase this guy because this is the type of people I really look to on the internet for doing good things. So he reached out to the member of the Gold's Gym who lost her membership and is now getting her a membership at another gym in Los Angeles, and he's paying for it. And this guy is a mensch. See, no other word for it.
I'm sure many of you have already seen this video. I don't know all the details yet, but supposedly this man, who now identifies as a woman, was in the women's locker room at a Gold's Gym in LA, exposing himself, saying lewd comments to women. And it isn't the first time that it happened. When he was confronted by the woman in this video, Tish, asking him, "Why are you in the women's locker room?" It caused a scene. The police were called, and Tish was kicked out of Gold's Gym. That man was also escorted out by police. Now, regardless of politics, we should all agree that women have the right to feel safe and comfortable in a women's locker room without having to see a grown man naked. So, Tish, thank you. I applaud you for your bravery, for sticking up for yourself and for other women. I personally spoke to Tish. She's very stressed out, having lost her gym membership, a place she loves to go, losing over 100 pounds there. So I am personally going to help her find a new gym in the LA area, a place where she'll feel safe and comfortable. And this won't happen, and I'm going to pay for it too. So thank you, Tish. You are a hero.
All right. So culture wars meets pop culture. Here we are. It's a really interesting moment in time. I go to a gym that is like all men. It's like a weight training gym. But I know that in the girls' locker room, we have a sauna, we have an ice plunge. I would feel weird if I was in that situation. But I also know that my gym would have handled it with, they would have known how to handle it. So I think it was an unfortunate set of circumstances that she was probably met with people who are untrained and unprofessional in how to navigate a tricky situation. But one bad apple, which is this person named Alexis, should not take down the whole trans community, because that's just not. There's always bad apples, but that's not representative of the whole, right? All right, moving on to bad apples. I know you've seen it. It's been everywhere. Sydney Sweeney back in the headlines. This girl, I don't know if she's her own worst enemy, but we're back into culture wars with Sydney Sweeney. That should be the name of our podcast, Culture Wars with Sydney Sweeney. So she's promoting her new movie, which apparently is doing terribly in the box office. I think it had like in the top 10 worst openings of any film. I think it's brought in as of Monday, I'm recording this, like $1.8 million in its opening weekend, and it's in a lot of theaters. So that's not good. It is called Christy, and she is playing an unattractive, kind of chunky female boxer. So obviously it's been done before. She is not creating the wheel. She is just reinventing the wheel. But let's see, Hilary Swank did it, right? And then Charlize Theron didn't play a boxer, but she played a very unattractive serial killer woman, Eileen, whatever her name is. They both won Oscars, right? Take beautiful women, make them ugly, they win Oscars. So clearly the agents and Sydney Sweeney were like, this is your moment. She has been hypersexualized. She plays the like sexy teenager on the TV show and in movies like, a sultry vixen. So this was an attempt, I imagine, to show that she is acting chops. And it's not just about her boobs and her sexiness. Turns out it might be about her boobs and it might be about her sexiness and not much else. But she's doing a press tour. And that press tour involved an interview with GQ magazine where she's on I think she's on the cover of the Man of the Year, which is great. I mean, her PR people are incredible. So she's doing an interview. It's a video interview. And I'm not going to lie, the journalist, she's not the best. She's not, it wasn't the best setup. It was done, again, around the corner from where we are right now at the Chateau Marmont. Beautiful setting. But tell me this is weird. If I'm interviewing somebody, if they're sitting sort of across, almost next to me, and then my body is like looking at them. It just makes, and they're sitting on these like uncomfortable wrought iron chairs in the garden. There's no table in front of them. Like, it just feels very awkward. Like, as a visual person, you just feel that the setup feels uncomfortable, and they're looking at each other like this as opposed to straight on. Feels awkward. Sydney has, and she's sitting there in the camera angle. I mean, it really is awkward. Let me just set it up and then you tell me. She has also just a voice that is memeable, that like, you know, TikTokers are going to just go with, and they do. But it's sort of like, so Sydney, how are you? I'm good. I'm really, you know, I wear jeans every day, but today I'm not wearing jeans. I usually wear pajamas, but today I dressed up for you. Like, it's that vocal fry. But the interviewer also has her own vocal fry. And do you guys remember the Meghan Markle podcast with her friend? Who's like, hi, Meghan, how are you? That like creepy. There's a little bit of that. But she's also a good journalist. So I don't think she was setting her up. I don't think this was a setup of like, we're going to bait and switch her, which some of the internet, one side of the internet will call it. There's a TikTok side and the Twitter side, and never the two shall meet. The TikTok side is hating on Sydney Sweeney. The Twitter side is hating on the GQ reporter, editor, interviewer. So we'll get to that. But first, here is some of said interview.
White people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like, that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
Okay. A lot to unpack here. She had the opportunity to actually, you would think, she's going to be asked this. I've been in PR for 30 years. I could have been in PR for 30 days and know that this is your first sort of mainstream media since the whole jeans controversy, ad campaign, jeans versus jeans. You're going to be asked for it. So have a response. That was not the response. It was, it just perpetuated it. It gave it legs again. She could have done such a great thing and just been like, I know what she was saying. Like, I love jeans. And so she could have said something like, yeah, I was surprised, but at the end of the day, I love jeans. I'm sorry it was taken the way it was. I thought I was just making a jeans ad, and I hope to move beyond that. And I heard what people said, and I appreciated that. At the end of the day, I just was making a jeans ad. There were so many ways she could have gone about it, but not that way. That was not the way. But there were some other little interesting moments that I thought just lent itself to being a really awkward, uncomfortable interview stylistically, and just the rapport between them that was like, do they like each other? Do they want to kill each other? So here's just another example.
We're sort of talking around this American Eagle ad right now, and maybe we should just talk about it. So were you surprised by the reaction?
I did a jean ad. I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but it was, I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah, I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans.
So, of course, my favorites are the creators on TikTok who went to town and did us proud, and sort of their versions, their takes on the interviews. So let's just show a couple of those.
Sydney, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. I'm so excited to talk to you, and it will be apparent throughout the entirety of the interview. Thank you so much for having me. I honestly put on like actual clothes today to come here. Normally I would just like put my pajamas on and not brush my hair, but today I only did half of that. Since we're here, I want to talk about the American Eagle ad. I want to give you a chance to kind of speak openly about what the reaction was like for you. So, were you expecting that reaction from the ad? Which I loved, by the way. I did a jean ad with undertones of eugenics, and everyone's pissed at me now.
I've literally never spoken about my personal life. I just did a jeans commercial.
Right. You received a fair amount of backlash over that jeans commercial.
Yeah? Were you surprised by the reaction? They're jeans. I mean, they're just blue jeans. I like jeans. They're comfort. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, I could sit here and show you 30 more. They're all very funny, but they all sort of make the same, they're playing on the same thing, that she was in over her head on this. And they are very, very convinced that she is racist and that she had an attitude and that she bombed the interview. So you go over to Twitter and it is an entirely different experience. They are saying this is a master class of communication. She did a master class in shutting the journalist down. And this journalist was a bad actor and she was able to shut it down. Here are some of the tweets, for example. The first time I saw this video, I burst out laughing because Sydney Sweeney delivers with such aplomb. Is that how I say it? Aplomb? The perfect 2-minute masterclass in media training. As it kept going viral, I noticed a couple of interesting things. The interviewer tries to lull her by acting understanding and nice, but see Sydney's body language. She is not defensive, but alert, and she doesn't buy the act. So when the trap springs, she knows where to pause and how to deliver. 2, at the end, she says, I will be heard. That's an outstanding response to an interviewer since the latter offered an opportunity. Sydney's response is not, I will say, but instead, I will be heard, refuting GQ's presumed role as the only way to be heard. Maybe Sydney was prepped excellently, or maybe she is just naturally very confident. But these two things are worth learning, not only for media interviews, but for any situation when someone wants to extract an apology or explanation from you and you don't owe them one. I mean, it's so interesting to see the two sides. Like TikTok is like, this is the worst. Like, we hate you more. We hate the ads. We hate you. You're cemented yourself into being a race baiter and a racist. Go to Twitter, the hotbed of racism, and you have so many examples of people saying that she did a great job. Another person, Matt Neely, says, did Sydney Sweeney have extensive media training, or is she just this naturally cool and self-assured? This is a masterclass on dealing with a hostile interviewer. I feel like everybody on Twitter got their talking points because they all say masterclass and that the interviewer was hostile. Whereas the flip side, TikTok is just like, you know, maybe it was awkward, whatnot, but she failed and she failed miserably. It went further. Twitter turned this image of the interviewer into a meme, or they desperately wanted to turn her into a meme. So Paul Graham has this tweet with this picture of her. And then just for those of you who are not watching, it's just a still shot of the interviewer who is wearing this sort of like quizzical look on her face with her eyebrows raised. She looks sort of skeptical in that sort of the screen grab. And Paul Graham says, the eyebrow equivalent of up-talking. This is the face people use when they don't want to take responsibility for what they're saying. And then, oh my God, it just went on. Brett Goldstein, who's a VC guy, said, VC, you see this? Sends competitors announcement. Founder. And it's a picture of Sydney Sweeney. So they're both being turned into memes. Sydney Sweeney having that look of like disdain for the journalist. So both those images have been used as a meme. And then I referred to Mark Andreessen. For those of you who are not in tech or not in the world of business and tech, Mark Andreessen, full disclosure, somebody I've known a long time. Personally and professionally, personally too, long time ago. I am one of the few people in my circle that has not been blocked on Twitter by Mark. I care about Mark. I really do. He's lost his way, but I say that with not real, I don't know how to frame it. he's always been this person. So when I say he's lost his way, he did, but actually before I knew him. I just didn't realize it at the time. And then it just sort of has gone further. And he doesn't see it as losing his way. And a lot of people on Twitter don't see it. And I, he has a belief system. It is just not my belief system. And he's incredibly successful. And if you were to just take away a moral compass and just look at, well, how successful is success measured in money and dollars and your turnaround on your investment with his investment group, Andreessen Horowitz, then yes, he's supremely successful. But he has very strong opinions. He hates the media. He believes people are woke and believes that, for example, countries that have problems, just let's say Jamaica, but in my case, talking to him, it was certain countries in Africa, it is not the job of countries like America to help them. That civilizations have fallen in history, and they don't come back because of the support of America. Sometimes civilizations should fall. That's his viewpoint. And that's the viewpoint of many, U.S. first, nationalism, all that stuff. Anyway, Mark really is in the camp of people that were very offended by the woke anger and upset over the ad campaign. My viewpoint is it was just a shitty ad campaign. It was just unnecessary. I just much preferred the Gap ad campaign, but that's neither here nor there. Mark takes it and takes the meme of said journalist and just starts literally having like a Twitter storm and meme after meme after meme. And some of them were funny. I give him that. Like, he can be funny, but in so many ways, sometimes they just go one step too far. And he took the meme, and then used it to criticize the Pope. And so everybody's like, ha! And then all of a sudden it was like, what? Like, what? That was a bridge too far for many. And people reacted. Even people that were normally defending Mark Andreessen and rah-rah, they're like, wait, you can't go after a Pope. He's American, for God's sake. I almost used the Lord's name in vain. I don't think that is. It's in reference to the Pope. But anyway, he did this, and I guess, let's see, it was all taken down. He blocked people and then took those tweets down. But his tweet was, he used the picture of the quizzical, questioning, eyebrow-raised journalist, and with the tweet from the Pope from November 7th, technological innovation can be a form of participation in the divine act of creation. It carries an ethical and spiritual weight, for every design choice expresses a vision of humanity. The church, therefore, calls all founders of AI to cultivate moral discernment, as it goes on. And so Mark, using the meme, is like, what? What are you talking about, Pope? How dare you, Pope? How dare you weigh into the AI stuff? Like, go away. That was a bridge too far. So that ended. Mark deleted those tweets, and the meme has stopped, at least for now. So Sydney Sweeney, we are back here. The culture wars continue. She also has been called out for this very inauthentic staged photo op that is showcasing her and her new boyfriend, Scooter Braun, which just adds fuel to the fire because you now have every Swiftie hating Sydney Sweeney because her boyfriend is Scooter Braun. I do not need to connect the dots here, but they found themselves on a boulder, which is, by the way, just not a natural thing to do when you're in Central Park. Like, it is not something that you just naturally do by sitting there. You're one of the most famous, recognizable faces in the world. Your new boyfriend, and you are on a boulder. And the boyfriend is wearing, like, what are you doing, Scooter? What are these socks and the loafers, the whole thing? And they staged this photo op with paparazzi to be like, oh, we're just a normal couple kissing in the park. It did not go over well. The kids did not like it. They did not like it at all. So she just can't get a break, I have to say. She seems unbothered by it. I have no idea. She's a hard worker. There's no question. I don't care what her political viewpoints are. I just don't think it matters. I do think that either if you're going to be outspoken, then be outspoken and have a belief system. But just because you voted for somebody or didn't vote for somebody, I don't think is really a place we should be. I don't. I really don't. Now, if you are advocating for like the loss of women's rights or whatever, then that's a different story. And we have no idea what her political beliefs are. We're all just making assumptions, except for this little ditty about when asked about President Trump truth socialing her.
I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean, the president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
It was surreal.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we do know what her political beliefs are. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about something that wasn't in the newsletter, because it is still, again, in this culture war theme I'm sort of hinting at, pop culture, and I didn't get to talk about it, and that is Teen Vogue.
In case you missed it, Teen Vogue has officially merged into Vogue.com, and in that merger, they laid off the majority of their BIPOC and trans staff, and this should be a huge concern for everybody that cares about free press and media. Teen Vogue is a magazine that taught a generation of us how to think critically. Especially in recent years, they've been focusing on political, progressive content. Here's what's really happening. Condé Nast is not just cutting out a magazine, it's cutting out an entire generation's political voice. This is the magazine where Elaine Welteroth was the first Black female editor-in-chief. This is the magazine that talked to young women about real issues and not just hair and makeup. And they gutted it before the most important election this year. This is not a coincidence. This is a sign of the times, y'all. They are not just passing bad laws and benefits that are literally ruining people's lives. They are also gutting the media that gives those same people a voice. They're reshaping who gets to tell the story. They're intentionally removing Black and brown editors. And the Condé Union said it themselves. This timing was designed to silence them when these voices mattered most.
I was so sad to see Teen Vogue go away, and so was all of the internet. It was a shit show. I was in New York last week when it happened. It was like between Mamdani and Teen Vogue that day. It was the same day. It was like everywhere you looked, people were talking about it. And yes, I know I run in the tech and media circles, but even my like normals, my friends were like, what the fuck happened at Teen Vogue? How did they do that? And then it just got even worse. So like each year Condé does something like this, and they just sort of shock us into, a sad state of affairs. So Teen Vogue, it was announced, was going away, and it was going to wrap into, I don't even know if it's being wrapped into Vogue. Listen, they hated Teen Vogue. Teen Vogue did become this sort of like, I think, alternative, what Refinery 29 used to be. They sort of, when Refinery stopped being that, I think Teen Vogue took that and ran with it. If you remember Elon's now sort of, they don't have a relationship, but daughter was on the cover and talking about her life as a trans woman and her life no longer in Elon's orbit. They take on social issues. They were very political. They were very feminist. They were very activist. And it was not fashion and fun. And, what 17 magazine or Sassy was when I was growing up, which we all love. So I understand that's probably, that was frustrating, especially in this moment in time. And if it wasn't making money, it wasn't making money. But then this is where things got a little tricky, and where I maybe don't stand on the side people think I would stand on, but a bunch of staffers confronted one of the executives, I guess, who was responsible for the layoffs, confronted him with phones on, filming, and demanded, the audacity, really, the audacity of this generation. But Godspeed. They went to this guy's office en masse. I don't know, it was like 5, 6 of them, cameras filming, and demanded to know why their colleagues, and one of them, their romantic partner, had been fired. And they demanded, and they, like, first of all, could you imagine, like, when I got laid off from a job. If people that were on my team went and did that, I'd be mortified. I'd be like, guys, please, like, you're not helping. You're not helping. Instead, these people went on the war path and they thought they were being, I don't know, like activists, and instead they got fired. What do you think? Take a look.
Stan, you laid off a third of our camera people. That's incredibly disruptive to my workplace.
We'd like you to move forward, okay? We'd like you to answer questions.
Stan,
We'd love to move forward.
Stan, if you can't be accountable to your own employees.
No!
Stan, this is literally your job.
You know, we'd appreciate if you would go back to the workplace where you're...
Is there a place that you would be able to speak to us?
Not today. We have other things going on.
Do you think we're not worth speaking to, Stan?
Those are your words, not mine.
I ought to be honest. I think, because then they went on social. So they then posted the video. That person's chasing him down the hallway, like, answer me, answer me. I mean, my God, where does that come from? Like, you have a job. It didn't work out. This is business. It sucks. I get it. And maybe it could have been handled a little bit better. There could have been maybe some like sort of indicators. I don't know. But that is also not the way you conduct yourselves. It's not how you do it. I don't know how you get employed after that, to be perfectly honest. And maybe I'm old school. Maybe this is a sign of my ageist, sort of my age. But I don't think that is the way you go about it. So you tell me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Hit me up in social media. Send me an email, brooke.hammerling@gmail.com. Tell me what you think, because I really want to know. I want to do just another fun thing. I did cover it in the newsletter, but this song is going to get in your head. And this creator is this artist. He's a singer-songwriter, but he's become really, really big on TikTok talking about military cadence and breaking it down. It's so niche and it's so wild. And he created this song, and it has now gone viral.
Your daddy, your mama, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right. I left my home. I left my home to join the army. Join the army. I left my home. I left my home to join the army. Join the army. The day I left. The day I left. My mama cried. My mama cried. She thought that I would surely die. Would surely die. I left my wife. I left my wife. Standing at the door. Standing at the door. She knew that I would die at war.
Now, it's good. I'm telling you guys, you are going to hate me because you're going to be sitting hearing this. But if your kids or your colleagues are humming this, you now know why. You're in the know. Here are some people's takes that are truly funny. And if you can watch this, guys, because it's more visual, you're seeing people's dance interpretation to this little military number. I highly suggest checking it out.
Was home when you left. You're right. Your daddy, your mama, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right. Your daddy, your mama, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right. I left my home.
They're so good. They are good. Okay. I covered so much more in the newsletter. We talked about the Barista, which is the Starbucks cup that is shaped like a teddy bear that has gone fully viral. It was a great drop, a merch drop by them, but then it sort of backfired. But did it backfire? It backfired because it was found that it was very hard to find. A lot of people are saying that Starbucks employees got early access to them and took them before the public could buy them. They're being resold on eBay at prices like $400, $500. I mean, it's crazy. Go check it out. We talked about the singer Role Play and his song Sally, or it's not called Sally, but you'll know it as Sally, and all these different people that are being brought out at his shows. It's been since the summer. All these celebrities who dance, who are the Sally, and it's fun. Go check it out on the newsletter. But content, I hate that word, but I watched a lot of stuff, so you know that I'm coming from a place of like truth. Pluribus, which is only 2 episodes right now. I don't know when they drop. It's on Apple Plus. It's Vince Gilligan, who did Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It is such a departure. It's sci-fi. Guys, everyone's like, oh, it's the new Severance. It's, to me, honestly, way more fun to watch than Severance. You don't need to, it's not as hard work. It's so good and it's mind-blowing. And I don't think Vince meant it to be in this sort of AI moment, because it's something he's been working on for 10 years, long before AI is in the moment we're in. But it's perfectly timed, because you'll see. It's so good. It brings us back to Albuquerque, which we haven't been to really since Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Like right now, 2 episodes in, I'm feeling very, very good. And then I watched this show with Sarah Snook, which I love, and it's on Peacock. And It's Her Fault, I think it's called. It's great. It's all on there, so you can binge it. And while the concept is about this woman who goes to pick up her son and he has been kidnapped, it goes into the feelings of moms who work and guilt and the dynamic between working women and working men and dads. And there's a lot there. It was very, as my friend Deborah said, it's very watchable. It was. I watched it in like 2 sittings, like done and done. Very good. Very watchable. Very good cast. And then everybody's talking about the Ryan Murphy show on Hulu with Kim Kardashian and Glenn Close and like every name star ever. I mean, it's crazy, called All's Fair, and they are a women legal team. It is campy. It is getting so much publicity, some of it very bad. People are saying that it's the worst rated show. It had 0 Rotten Tomatoes. And that was the first sort of iteration of the social reaction to it. Just like, this is the worst, this is garbage, this is the biggest fail, everybody should be embarrassed. And then sort of like the Taylor Swift album, it's a grower. Now you're seeing people defend it, saying, God, this is great, this is candy, this is hilarious, I'm so proud. This creator, for example, is not having it with anybody's criticisms.
Who's ever spreading this rumor that Kim Kardashian's new show, All's Fair, on Hulu streaming right now, has a 0% on Rotten Tomato? I have one word for you. Liar! The only thing rotten about All's Fair is the fact that we're not able to stream the entire season at once. When the narrative was spinning that the show had 0%, that was because there was 8 critics with a K who clearly just do not like Kim Kardashian. Now it's up to 6% with 17 reviews. You guys, it's only been out for like less than 24 hours. Maybe more. Because honey, I am so effing proud of Kim. This show is so good. And the reason haters don't like it is because they don't like Kim. And the show is basically, it's Kim's life in an alternate universe. It's Kim as my lawyer if there was never Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And part of me feels like because the cast is all women and the show leans a little anti-men, but honey, men are the worst, that people just don't want to give Kim and this cast their credit. Don't come for Kim. She's Kim Kardashian for a reason. And that reason is to deliver #1 hits like reality TV and now scripted. Oh, grrr.
And to be fair, I am going to watch All's Fair. I am going to watch it. I love campy. I love silly. I mean, I'm sure it's cringe in some ways, and especially on the heels of Kim Kardashian trying to be a lawyer. She just announced she failed the bar exam again. She's going to keep trying. Her playing a lawyer on TV in a Ryan Murphy show. I mean,
women representing women.
We're not the only ones to suffer abuse. Plenty of women inflict it. Don't they? Tits up. That's bitter. Just like all the women who own this joint.
I love it. I do. I love it. And then the kids are also loving, I've not seen this. The Fanning sisters are big. One Fanning sister is in that Peacock show with Sarah Snook. Dakota Fanning, I think, is the one. And then Elle Fanning, I get them all. They're so beautiful and they're so similar and yet so different. But then there's Predator Badlands. Never thought this would be a movie I want to see, but based on all of the reactions online, I definitely want to see this movie. The CGI looks awesome. Take a look at just a few seconds of it. Yeah, I don't know why, but the kids love it. People are like, not just the kids. Mike Isaac, somebody I reference quite a bit in the newsletter and here, a journalist at the New York Times and a darling friend, he's like, it's banging. This movie is great. So there you go. Who knew? I'm recommending, like, I don't even know what Predator this is, like the 8th Predator. I haven't seen any but the original. I'm going to see this one. So that is it, my darlings. Myself, my Invisalign, my dog who's been asleep at my feet this whole time, and I are going to go. But first I want to thank Live Nation for continuing to believe in me and in this podcast and you guys. And I will see you next week.
On Thursday.